On the day I was supposed to sign a marriage license with my CEO girlfriend, her manipulative male assistant beat me to it, handing over his ID to the clerk first. Just like that, the marriage certificate that was supposed to be mine and hers became his and hers. I merely asked a couple of questions, but the assistant, Zane Lewis, suddenly collapsed to his knees, wailing at me in utter despair. "Jarrett, it's all my fault. If it weren't for needing the school district residency for my son, I wouldn't have resorted to this desperate plan of a fake marriage with Serena." He was practically threatening to slam his head against the wall to atone for his sins. Instead of defending me, my girlfriend, Serena Quinn, who used to be so rational, slapped me across the face in front of everyone. "Zane is a single father. He's doing this for his child. Do you have to be so petty?" Serena scolded, her eyes cold. "It's just a piece of paper. Once Zane's kid gets enrolled, I'll divorce him. What does it matter if you wait a bit? Do you have to push a man to the brink of death? Apologize to Zane right now," she demanded, "and give him half your monthly salary as compensation for his emotional distress. If you cooperate, I might let you take a picture of my marriage license with Zane to show off in your family group chat. Otherwise, don't even think about marrying me later." I let out a cold laugh. "Then we won't get married." It wasn't just the license I didn't want anymore. I didn't want this person anymore either. Hearing this, Serena froze for a moment, seemingly surprised that her threat didn't work. After a beat, she scoffed, as if realizing something. "Jared Lee, this is just your little game of playing hard to get, isn't it? Why are you so insecure? It's not easy for Zane to make it in the city with a kid. As his boss, what's wrong with me helping him out?" she argued. "You can get married anytime, but if Zane delays, his kid misses the enrollment deadline. Can you take responsibility for ruining a child's future? If you're this cold-blooded, how can I trust you to be my husband, to be the father of my future children?" Listening to her self-righteous speech, I rubbed my face, which was still stinging and numb from her slap. Inside, however, I felt an unprecedented calm. Perhaps because similar things had happened too many times, I was already numb. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at Zane, who was threatening to hit his head against the wall to apologize to me. It was laughable. He moved as slowly as a snail, and his forehead barely tapped the drywall. The force wouldn't have cracked an egg, let alone a skull. The acting was atrocious, yet Serena bought a hook, line, and sinker. This time, I didn't cower like I used to. I retorted coldly. "Zane stole my marriage license. I'm not supposed to be angry. Should I smile and thank him for stealing it so well?" Zane's eyes reddened, and he made a motion to hit the wall again. "Serena, it's all my fault. I'll die to make amends." Serena, face full of heartache, rushed to stop him, then turned to yell at me. "Jared, are you done yet? Apologize to Zane immediately and give him half your salary. You owe him this." Serena had always favored Zane. Whenever Zane was slightly unhappy, she would demand I apologize. Once, Zane wrote the wrong unit on a contract, costing the company millions. Yet Serena, who usually valued money above all else, didn't hold him accountable. Instead, she made me the scapegoat, claiming I failed in my supervisory duties. She not only made me take full responsibility, but also used the opportunity to strip me of all my stock options, worth millions. In the past, because I loved her, I chose to compromise and endure time and again. Today, I didn't want to yield anymore. I did nothing wrong, so why should I apologize? If anyone should apologize, it's Zane apologizing to me. Serena's face flushed with anger. "Jared," before she could explode, I turned around and walked away without looking back. Coming out of the city clerk's office, the sky was already dark. Watching the couples passing by on the street, I couldn't help but feel a bitter pang in my heart. It was ridiculous, really. Serena and I had been dating for 6 years, yet we hadn't gotten married. At first, she said marriage would hinder her career and that business had to come first. To support her dreams, I decisively quit my stable, high-paying job and accompanied her to the big city to start a business. I drank myself into a stupor at client dinners, finally helping her secure the CEO position. But after the business stabilized, she wanted to test my sincerity. She said she would only agree to marry me if I passed the 52 prenup challenges set up by Zane. And so, under the guise of these tests, Zane made me collect 9,999 handwritten blessings from strangers. He intentionally dumped ice water on me when I entered the office. He spiked my coffee with laxatives, causing me to have a humiliating accident during a partnership negotiation. Furthermore, he often used various excuses to call Serena away during our dates, claiming it was all a test for me. To marry Serena sooner, I endured it all. Until yesterday, I had just finished a major design proposal, and Zane demanded I give the credit to him, calling it the final test. That proposal had taken a year of my blood, sweat, and tears. When I hesitated, Zayn claimed my hesitation proved I didn't love Serena. I had to give in. Serena finally relented and agreed to get the license. I was so excited I didn't sleep all night and got to the clerk's office early to pull a number and wait in line. But just as the marriage certificate was within reach, Zayn jumped out and married Serena instead. I simply asked a few questions, and Serena defended him, calling my mind filthy for seeing everything as dirty. But if she truly had no feelings for Zayn, why didn't she help the other single parents in the company? Why did she only care so deeply for Zayn? Only now did I realize that Serena's heart had wandered long ago. The tests were just excuses because she didn't want to marry me. It wasn't until my stomach rumbled that I remembered I hadn't eaten all day. To get the license early, I had skipped breakfast to queue up, only to do all that work for someone else's benefit. It wasn't worth it. I shook my head, stopped thinking about these upsetting things, and found a restaurant. Just a few bites in, I saw Serena had posted a photo of her and Zayn's marriage license on social media. Colleagues were commenting congratulations and 99, wishing them longevity, and, of course, they didn't forget to mock me. So what if Jared is the CEO's boyfriend? Boss Serena still got the license with assistant Zayn. How could an old piece of jerky like him compare to the young and handsome assistant Zayn? I knew Serena was doing this to provoke me. It was her go-to move. Whenever I didn't follow her wishes, she would deliberately show off affection with Zayn to make me feel insecure, forcing me to bow my head and apologize. In the past, to maintain the relationship and move toward marriage, I always endured and compromised. But this time, I just gave a cold laugh and liked the post. Soon, my parents saw the post and called me. Son, what's going on with Serena's post? How did she get a marriage license with someone else? My parents were getting old and always worried about my life events, hoping Serena and I would marry soon. Serena kept delaying, always pitying Zayn's hardships, but never considering mine. Just as I was about to speak, Serena sent me a message. Jared, I specifically didn't block your parents from seeing this post. They must be going crazy with worry, right? If you apologize to Zayn, I can explain to them that it's all a misunderstanding. Otherwise, handle the consequences yourself. Serena used to respect my decisions and never forced me to do anything. Once, when we went to her house for dinner, I had an egg allergy, but her mom tried to force me to eat an egg dish. Serena flipped the table in anger. Now, to force me to apologize to Zayn, she didn't hesitate to use social media to trigger my parents. The Serena who loved me like her own life was truly dead. I didn't reply to her. I simply responded to my parents calmly. Mom, Dad, Serena, and I are done. I'll listen to you guys and come home for blind dates. My parents never really approved of Serena, feeling she was too ambitious and not a grounded girl for a peaceful life. But I had left my hometown to be with her. Now it seemed my parents were right. Okay, Mom and Dad will arrange the dates right away. After hanging up, I bought a bus ticket for tomorrow, then took a taxi home to pack. As soon as I reached the door, I heard laughter. I pushed the door open and found 3 pairs of shoes in the entryway, matching family styles. I recognized one pair as Serena's. They were a birthday gift from Zayn, cheap knockoffs costing maybe $8.80. The workmanship was rough, the material cheap, yet Serena treasured them. Meanwhile, the high-end designer shoes I bought her for thousands sat gathering dust. She claimed my taste was tacky and embarrassing. I once thought my taste was genuinely the problem and humbly asked Zayn how to improve it. Now I realize Serena just looked down on anything I gave her. I kicked the 3 pairs of shoes aside and walked in. I looked up to see Zayn wearing my pajamas, lounging lazily on the couch watching TV, looking for all the world like the master of the house. His son, Zach, was holding large scissors, hacking away at the carpet in the living room. That carpet was hand-woven by my mother, who had strained her eyes making it for me. Now, Zach had cut it into a pile of scraps, casually tossed in the corner. What made my blood pressure spike even more was seeing him using photos left by my late grandmother as drawing paper, scribbling over them with markers. Furious, I snatched the photos from Zach's hands and demanded, "Why are you in my house?" Seeing his toy taken away, Zach stiffened his neck and yelled, "Mommy agreed to it." The next second, hearing the commotion, Serena walked out of the kitchen. She had rhinitis and couldn't stand the smell of cooking fumes. In all our years together, she never cooked. But at this moment, she was holding a spatula, cooking for Zayn and his son. "Zach, what's wrong? Why are you calling Mommy?" Serena was about to hug Zach to comfort him, but she froze when she saw me. "Serena Quinn, since when did you become a mother? How come I didn't know?" Facing my interrogation, Serena Quinn paused for only a moment before dismissing it nonchalantly. "Look at you being so petty. Zach has never felt motherly love since he was little." Letting him call me mommy a few times won't cost you a piece of flesh. By the way, why did you come back so suddenly? I found it laughable. This is my house. I can't come back. And you, without my permission, who let you bring them in here? Serena looked completely self-righteous. Zane's place is too far from the school Zach needs to attend. Commuting is inconvenient, and over time it affects Zach's studies. It just so happens our home is close to Zach's school, so I brought them here. The house is big enough anyway. Until Zane finds a suitable place, it's plenty of room for father and son. And what if Zane never finds a suitable place? Serena glanced dotingly at Zane and his son. Then they'll just keep staying here. It's just adding 2 extra pairs of chopsticks. Yet, when I wanted to bring my parents to stay for a while, Serena hadn't agreed. She said this was a big city, not the countryside, and told me not to bring stinking rural habits into the city, claiming city people weren't used to outsiders in their homes. Now she was actively inviting Zane and his son to live here, even willing to act as their maid, serving them hand and foot. Turns out, only my parents were outsiders in her eyes. Thinking of this, I said deeply, I do not agree to them living here. Serena's face immediately darkened. Jared, how do you have zero compassion? I sneered back. I certainly can't compare to your kindness. Kind enough to get a marriage license with your assistant and then move him and his son into your home. Just then, the silent Zane suddenly spoke up. With red-rimmed eyes, he took off the pajamas he was wearing, looking pitiful. Jared, Serena, please don't fight because of me. Since Jared doesn't want us to stay, I'll take Zach and go. It'll just be a bit harder for Zach to get school. Serena, I'm already grateful you helped with the residency registration. I wouldn't dare ask for more. As he spoke, he exchanged a glance with Zach. The next second, Zach suddenly rushed forward and bit my calf viciously. My leg immediately started bleeding from a bite. Zach, not satisfied, clenched his fist and started hitting me. You bad man. Why are you chasing me and Daddy away? This is my house. If anyone leaves, it should be you. Only after Zach had beaten me red did Zane step in to pull him away. Jared, he's just a kid and doesn't know better. Don't mind him. Before I could speak, Serena cut in. Zane, you and Zach stay put. Jared, Zane felt guilty about the marriage license incident and specifically bought a gift to apologize to you. Yet you're being this calculative. I think the one who really doesn't know better is you. I looked up. The gift she mentioned was half an eaten souffle. I said coldly, I'm allergic to eggs. I can't eat it. And I'm not a trash can. I don't have a habit of recycling garbage. Zane's eyes filled with tears. Serena, I know Jared thinks my gift is cheap, but it's the best I could afford. If Jared doesn't like it, he can just say so. Why be so sarcastic? Serena looked displeased. She picked up the half-eaten souffle and tried to shove it into my mouth. Zane was kind enough to gift this to you, and you're turning your nose up at it? You'd even make up a ridiculous excuse, like an egg allergy? I want to see if you actually have a reaction. I couldn't dodge in time and got the souffle smeared all over my mouth, the smell of egg hitting me instantly. I gagged, taking a long time to spit the residue out. By the time I recovered, my body was covered in a red rash. Only with the facts right in front of her did Serena remember that I really was allergic to eggs. A trace of guilt flashed in her eyes. Jared, I didn't bother listening. I turned and went into the bedroom to pack my luggage. Serena followed me in, her voice softening. Jared, I was just so angry I forgot about your allergy. I'm sorry. I was confused. Why was Serena suddenly so easy to talk to, actually initiating an apology? But the next second, she revealed her true intentions. But could you temporarily let Zane and his son stay? Once Zane finds a place, I'll make the move out. Then I'll marry you as compensation, okay? So it was still for Zane. I let out a cold laugh, shaking off Serena's hand. No need. I'm moving out right now to make room for your happy family of 3. With that, I lowered my head and continued packing. Seeing that her charm offensive didn't work this time, Serena froze. Then a look of disdain crossed her eyes. Jared, do you think I can't tell you're just playing hard to get, trying to provoke me? I tried discussing this nicely with you, but you wouldn't listen. Fine, go be alone and do whatever you want. Serena slammed the door and stormed off furiously. Even now, she thought I was just throwing a tantrum, using petty tricks I learned online to express jealousy. She didn't know that this time, I was serious. For this relationship and this home, I had paid too high a price and sacrificed too much of myself. Now I just wanted to live for myself. I shook my head and turned back to pack. The most important things in the bedroom were my client data and design portfolios accumulated over years, my livelihood, essentially. But when I opened the folder, I found the documents I had meticulously organized were covered in scribbles from colorful markers, illegible. On the back of some papers were messy calculations of elementary math problems. Clearly, this was the work of Zane and his son. Even if Zach was young and didn't know better, how could Zane not know the importance of these documents? This was deliberate sabotage. I immediately opened the door, stormed into the living room, and slammed the folder down in front of Zane. Zane, did you tell your son to do this? Hearing this, Zane glanced at Serena, who was still washing dishes in the kitchen, then gave a contemptuous smile. Yeah, so what? My son needed scratch paper. Since your documents were just gathering dust anyway, might as well recycle them. What? Are you going to demand compensation from me? Before I could speak, Zane winked at his son from across the room. The next moment, Zach, who had been leisurely playing a game, suddenly smashed his phone onto the floor and collapsed, wailing loudly. Mommy, the bad uncle is bullying me. Mommy wah. Hearing the noise, Serena rushed into the living room without even taking off her dishwashing gloves. Seeing Zach on the floor, she immediately helped him up with a pained expression, then glared at me viciously, slapping me without a word. Jared Lee, I really misjudged you. You're a grown man, and you actually hit a child. Look, even his phone is smashed. He must have used so much force. Were you trying to kill him? I held my numbing face, finding it laughable. You didn't ask a single thing, yet you're certain I did it? Serena paused, then stubbornly retorted. If not you, then who? Aren't you just holding a grudge because Zach used your papers as scratch pads? You want to settle the score with him? Zach was just trying to be helpful and save money by recycling. Why can't you understand a child's good intentions? I laughed coldly. So, Serena knew about it. Even if Zane and his son were incompetent, she, as a CEO, should have known how important those documents were to my work. Yet she condoned Zach's behavior and even expected me to thank them. Truly ridiculous. Before I could speak, Zane sidled up with fake sincerity, picking up a jade amulet that had snapped in half where Zach had fallen. He sighed deeply. Serena, don't blame Jared. It's my fault for not teaching my son well. As a father, I take full responsibility. It's just a pity about this protective jade amulet passed down from our ancestors to Zach. I guess this is just karma for me and Zach. Hearing this, Serena finally noticed the amulet. She froze, then glared at me, eyes wide with rage. Jared, look what you've done. Not only did you hit a child, but you also destroyed Zane's family heirloom. You must compensate Zane 10 times the loss. Zane snickered covertly, then feigned politeness. Serena, how could I dare ask Jared for compensation? If anything, I should be compensating him. Saying this, Zane pretended to take out his phone to transfer money to me. But I clearly saw he inputted 0.01 inch. He had no intention of paying me. Serena couldn't stand it anymore. She snapped his phone shut and declared firmly, "This is the heirloom of the Lewis family, his only connection to his relatives. How can we let this slide?" She turned to me. Jared, since Zane is speaking up for you, I won't demand 10 times the compensation. But you'll take out your savings passbook right now, give it all to Zane, and apologize properly to both of them. Beg for their forgiveness. I found it hilarious. An heirloom? The jade in Zane's hand was obviously dyed glass from a street stall, not even worth $10. Yet she wanted me to hand over my life savings and apologize. I refused instantly. Impossible. Even if I die, I won't pay him a cent, nor will I apologize. Seeing my refusal, Serena completely lost her temper. Jared, you're the one who did something wrong. Zane and I have already compromised. What more do you want? If you keep making trouble without reason, do you believe I'll break up with you? I just smiled coldly at that. Perfect. I was thinking the same thing. Let's break up. As soon as the words left my mouth, Serena was dumbfounded. She had intended to use the breakup threat to make me submit like in the past. She never expected I would agree so directly. Jared, do you know what you're saying? I nodded calmly. Didn't you say you want to break up? I agreed. What's the problem? Serena was speechless, her face flushing red with anger. Zane, who had been holding back laughter while watching the drama, now stepped up to play the good guy. Jared, I didn't realize you hated us father and son so much. To drive us away, you'd even break up with Serena. It's me who didn't know my place. I'll take Zach and go right now, so we don't annoy anyone. With that, Zane picked up Zach and stormed out the door. Serena hesitated for a moment, but ultimately chased after them. Before leaving, she didn't forget to shout a threat. Jared, fine. Break up then. And if you're leaving, then go. I want to see how long you can keep up this tantrum. Serena thought my leaving was just another fit of pique. I remember the time she made me the scapegoat for Zane's mistake. We fought bitterly, and I left home in anger, planning to cut ties completely. Serena searched for a long time before finding me. Upon seeing me, she hugged me and cried. Jared, I was just worried about Zane getting in trouble and his kid having no one to care for him. That's why I let you take the blame. It was wrong of me not to consider your feelings, but I really couldn't just stand by. Can you forgive me?" Seeing her sincere apology, and with colleagues and friends urging me, I forgave her for the sake of our years together. So, Serena assumed this time was just another bluff, that if she cried a little, I would come back. But she miscalculated. This time, I was truly decided on leaving. I didn't want her anymore. After Serena left, I continued packing. Looking at the wall covered in 999 photos of us traveling around the world, a sense of unreality washed over me. That was during our 3rd year together. The company was just getting on track. Although we worked until 3 or 4 a.m. every day, life felt full of promise. Until one day, while working late, Serena felt a sharp pain in her temple and fainted. After I rushed her to the hospital, the examination results were grim. Suspected late-stage brain cancer. We're doing more screening, but you should prepare for the worst. I can never forget how I survived that night in the hospital hallway. We had just weathered so many crises, and life was finally getting better, yet her life was suddenly withering. After learning of her condition, Serena hugged me and cried for a long time. Finally, she grabbed me tight, saying she had been too busy fighting for our future to spend time with me. She wanted to create as many memories as possible before she died. So, we temporarily handed over the company and traveled to famous spots domestically and abroad. Usually camera shy, she actively pulled me into photos everywhere, saying that after she died, I should burn these photos so she wouldn't be lonely in the afterlife. Back then, I truly thought we were going to be separated by death. Until 3 months later, when the specialist results came back, it was a benign tumor requiring only minor surgery. We wept with joy, promising never to leave each other. But now she had Zane. For Zane's sake, she tolerated him hurting me and stealing everything from me time and again. She had ultimately forgotten her promise. Returning to the present, I took a deep breath, tore the photos down, and threw them all in the trash. When I finished packing, looking at my barely full suitcase, I couldn't help but laugh at myself. I had lived with Serena for 6 years. In this huge house, my belongings couldn't even fill one suitcase. Yet Zane and his son had been here less than a day, and their stuff filled every corner. Even the backyard was piled with 2 large boxes of their luggage and deliveries. In this home, it was as if I, the man of the house, was just an invisible guest. I shook my head and checked my savings passbook, feeling somewhat reassured. Thankfully, feelings might betray me, but the numbers in the bank didn't lie. These years, even though the company was profitable, netting millions annually, Serena always complained about financial pressure. She nagged me about spending money, claiming I didn't consider our future, marriage, kids, formula, tuition. I believed her. I scrimped and saved. As a company executive, I ate the cheapest noodles in the cafeteria every day and took the bus regardless of the weather. Over the years, I had saved quite a bit, enough to restart my life in my hometown. I dragged my suitcase to the door, but the scent of fruit wafted from the yard. I paused, looking at the grapevines. Because I liked grapes, Serena had planted a vine for me and even built a swing. Every summer, we would swing, eat fresh grapes, and enjoy the evening breeze. Now, the grapes were ripe again. I picked one and tasted it. Still sweet. But Serena and I were no longer the same. For the past 2 years, I was the only one tending the vines. When the grapes ripened, Serena no longer shared them with me first. She picked the fullest bunches for Zane and his son. Thinking of this, I grabbed an axe and chopped down the grapevine and the swing, severing my 6 years of feelings for Serena along with them. Done with that, I left the home I'd lived in for 6 years and dialed a number I hadn't called in a long time. "Chase, do you still need people?" On the other end was Chase Miller, my childhood best friend. Unlike me, who chose the big city with Serena, Chase went back to our hometown after graduation. Over the past 2 years, his clothing factory there had grown larger, gaining a reputation in the industry. He had called me countless times, offering a salary far higher than Serena's company, hoping I would join him. But I couldn't let go of Serena, so I always declined. Hearing me initiate the topic of returning, Chase was surprised. After a silence, he asked curiously, "Of course. You're a top-tier designer. I'd be thrilled. But didn't you say Serena only wants to stay in the big city? Will she agree to a long-distance relationship?" I shook my head and laughed self-deprecatingly. There is no Serena anymore. We broke up. I plan to go home and go on blind dates. Chase paused, then comforted me. "It's okay. With your charm, plenty of good girls will want you. Besides, our hometown isn't what it used to be. The development here rivals the city now, and there's none of that backstabbing or overtime exploitation. If you come, you're the chief designer. annual dividends, plus a monthly base salary of $30,000 to start. Hearing the offer, I was shocked. At Serena's company, my base salary was always the lowest tier. She called it leading by example to cut costs. She claimed the economy was bad and the salary was generous. I believed her and never looked elsewhere. I didn't realize she was exploiting me so ruthlessly. My 6 years of youth were truly wasted. I chatted briefly with Chase and agreed to meet once I settled everything. After that, I took my property deed to a real estate agent to sell my condo. The apartment was fully paid for by my parents, intended for my marriage to Serena. Once, Serena wanted me to sell the property to fund her company's expansion. Fortunately, my mother was hospitalized at the time, preventing the transfer, so it dragged on until now. The agent verified my ID and quickly processed the paperwork, listing my house for sale. Leaving the agency, I went to the company to handle my resignation. HR said Serena had to approve it and asked me to call her. I called a dozen times. She didn't answer. Helpless, HR called her. She answered instantly. Serena, Jared is. The corporate seal is in the drawer. I am Busse. Handle small matters yourself. Don't bother me. Before HR could react, Serena hung up. Since she agreed, HR processed my resignation. The next second, I received a provocative DM from Zane. The photo showed Serena, who was usually terrified of heights, riding a roller coaster at the amusement park with Zane and his son. The caption read, "Smart people know when to back off." No wonder Serena said she was busy and agreed to my resignation without asking questions. She was busy entertaining Zane and his kid. But thanks to him, I managed to resign smoothly. Otherwise, given Serena's money-grubbing nature, she wouldn't have let me leave without flaying me alive. I sneered and replied, "Some people just love picking up trash. I'm happy to facilitate." As soon as I sent the message, Serena called. I didn't need to guess. Zane must have played the victim again to get Serena to scold me. This time, I didn't even look. I hung up and blocked her. After finishing the handover with HR, I prepared to leave. But as I walked out, a group of colleagues surrounded me. "Jared, what's going on? Why are you suddenly quitting? Did that little assistant, Zane, badmouth you again? We'll go argue for you. If you leave, we quit too." Many of those speaking up for me were apprentices I had mentored over the years. Once, everyone in the company called me Brother Jared and treated me like family. But after seeing Zane gain power, many chose to step on me to curry favor with him. Seeing so many people still trust me warmed my heart. It's okay. I chose to leave. I have a better place to go, don't worry. But as they walked me out, many were still indignant. Several were core members of the department. I looked back one last time at the towering office building. I used to think this company would grow to be world famous. Now, it seems Serena's company had unstable foundations and wavering morale. Collapse was only a matter of time. Just as I walked out, the real estate agent messaged me. "Mr. Lee, we found a buyer. Please tidy up the house. We can sign the contract tomorrow." "Okay, thanks." I took a taxi home, called a moving company, and packed up all of Zane and Serena's belongings, dumping them outside. During this time, Zane frantically sent me their itinerary. Serena is riding the Ferris wheel with me and Zach. People say we look like a family of 3. Serena even rented out the park just for us. "You never got this treatment, right?" I ignored him. That night, Serena didn't come back. I didn't care and slept soundly. The next day, after signing the contract with the buyer, I dragged my luggage to the bus station. On the way, I ran into Serena and Zane coming out of kindergarten where they had just enrolled Zach. Zane was holding Zach, and Serena was happily holding Zane's arm, looking like a perfect family. Passersby commented, "What a happy family. The parents are loving and match so well. That kid is lucky." Serena smiled without speaking, clearly enjoying it. Until she saw me, she froze, immediately letting go of Zane's arm like a thief caught in the act, panic flashing across her face. "Jared, what are you doing here?" But quickly she frowned. "Wait, it's work hours. You're skipping work? That's a pay deduction. You stopped working just to stalk me? Jared, how long are you going to keep this up?" I found it funny. I had been resigned for a whole day, and Serena didn't know. She wasn't just a bad girlfriend. She was a terrible boss. "Serena, I resigned." Serena didn't believe it, furrowing her brows. "Resigned? Yesterday you threatened a breakup. Today, it's resigning? Jared, that's enough." Zane rolled his eyes and feigned kindness. "Serena, calm down. I think Jared knows he's wrong and followed us here to beg for forgiveness. He's just too embarrassed to say it directly." Serena's mood improved visibly. "If you want forgiveness, fine, but you have to apologize to Zane. Also, Zane sleeps poorly, so give up the master bedroom to him and the child. You sleep in the study. Furthermore, Zach is growing. Takeout isn't healthy. You need to cook 3 meals a day for Zane and his son as an apology. Don't miss a single condition. I laughed out loud. She was treating me like a servant. I had planned to tell her about selling the house later, but since we met, I might as well say it now. Serena, I can't agree to any of that because I've already sold the house. I threw your luggage in the backyard. If you don't want scavengers to take it, I suggest you go back early. Serena's pupils shrank. You sold the house? How could you not tell me such an important thing? I said coldly, it's my house. I sell if I want. I don't need your permission. Zane couldn't hide his smirk, but kept stirring the pot. Jared, I didn't expect you to sell the house just to drive us away. Since you hate me so much, I'll go get a divorce from Serena right now and move out so I don't offend your eyes. Serena looked worried. But didn't you just use your refunded rent to pay Zach's tuition? Where will you live? Zane wiped a non-existent. Jared doesn't welcome us. Zach and I will just sleep under a bridge. It's cold, but at least we won't have to watch someone's attitude. Zach spat at me and made a face. You big bad guy bullying daddy. Mommy, teach him a lesson. Serena lost her temper too. Jared, there's a limit to being unreasonable. Get the house back immediately. That's our future marital home. Otherwise, don't think about ever getting a marriage license with me. Facing her, on her first threat, I laughed right there. Serena, did you forget? We broke up ages ago. We're broken up. So what license are we getting? Serena's eyes widened, her breath catching. Jared, when did I break up with you? I kindly reminded her. Serena, yesterday at home, you personally proposed a breakup, and I agreed. You forgot so quickly. Serena realized then, asking in surprise, you weren't speaking out of anger yesterday? Serena, I have always been serious. Hearing this, Serena's face dropped. Jared, you're breaking up over a little thing like me getting a license with Zane? I did it to help Zach get into school. Do you have to hold a grudge? Zane beat his chest, squeezed out 2 tears, and chimed in. Jared, it's all my fault. I know stealing the license was wrong, but I did it for the child. If you're angry, take it out on me. Why joke about breaking up? Serena works hard to support the family. As her boyfriend, instead of helping, you lay around at home living off her. How can you bring up breaking up to upset her? Zane's voice was loud, stopping parents at the gate to listen. Assuming I was a petty moocher, they cast scornful looks at me. A grown man living off a woman? Shameful. Buddy, your girlfriend was doing a good deed. Don't be so petty. Exactly. You're a kept man. What right do you have to have an attitude? These people really had no clue. Serena knew perfectly well that I contributed both money and effort all these years. I wasn't the moocher Zane claimed. She and the company were where they were today because of me. She knew Zane was lying, but didn't stop him, indulging his slander. I knew she was angry about the breakup and wanted to use public opinion to teach me a lesson. In the past, whenever Serena was mad, she'd punish me, disappearing or acting intimate with Zane online. Before, I would have been hurt. Now, I just hated that I had wasted my youth on such a toxic woman. I looked at Serena. She had no intention of helping me. If she wouldn't help, I'd help myself. I scanned the crowd coldly and retorted, You say I'm petty? If your partner got a marriage license with someone else, I hope you'd be as generous as you claim. And I am not a kept man. I haven't spent a dime of Serena's money these past years. In fact, she's been spending mine. I pulled out my phone and displayed a screenshot. It showed my salary transfers to Serena and her daily expenses from our joint card. Over the years, because Serena claimed we needed a lot of money after marriage, I handed my salary over to her for safekeeping as our wedding fund. Sympathizing with how hard she worked, I saved wherever I could, using frayed toothbrushes, wearing socks with holes. Yet the money I saved was spent by Serena on Zane and his son. At first, I thought Serena just had high expenses, so I didn't think much of it. But after the day she got the license with Zane, I became suspicious and checked the bank statements. I discovered that the majority of the money had been spent on them. A $30,000 watch, a $100,000 sports car, toys costing thousands. Serena bought them without blinking. Meanwhile, I was trying to stretch every dollar. Thinking back, I was a fool. After the screenshot was revealed, public opinion instantly flipped. The passersby who had criticized me now turned their aim on Serena. That woman is unbelievable. Spending her boyfriend's money to support another man and his kid. This guy is tragic. Worked hard for nothing and got slandered. Trash belongs with trash. Lock them up together so they don't ruin anyone else. Facing the crowd's criticism, Serena blushed to her neck in embarrassment. She looked at me coldly and complained, Jared, you're so petty, making a fuss over this little bit of money. Little bit? She spent a total of $150,000 on Zane and his son over the years. Money I saved penny by penny. And she called a little bit? Usually, if I asked her to buy me a $3 cup of noodles, she'd haggle over the price. I used to think it was just a quirk. Now I understood. Because she didn't love me, she calculated everything clearly. I took a deep breath and said indifferently, Serena, we've broken up. We are strangers now. So naturally, we have to settle accounts. Realizing I was serious, Serena's face darkened. She tried to threaten me with work. Jared, don't forget your job is in my hands. If you insist on breaking up, don't blame me for firing you without regard for our past. Zane looked smug, but played the nice guy. Jared, jobs are hard to find these days. Why not just apologize to Serena? I ignored him and sneered at Serena. Serena, I resigned yesterday. Didn't you know? Serena froze, then scoffed, denying it immediately. Resignation requires my stamp of approval. I didn't receive your letter or sign anything yesterday. How could you have resigned? Jared, is this another one of your hard-to-get tactics? I smirked, pulling out the stamped resignation letter. Is that so? CEO Quinn has a short memory. Look at this. Serena glanced at it, her pupils shrinking. Next, looking as if she'd seen a ghost, she snatched the document from my hand. Staring at the bright red official seal in black and white, she gulped. No. Impossible. How do you have this? I never received your file. Before I could speak, a gleam of malice flashed in Zane's eyes. He chimed in, Jared, I know you hate me, but you shouldn't joke with your career. Forging a resignation letter just to anger Serena? Do you know the consequences if people find out? Zane didn't finish, but Serena caught on immediately. She glared at me furiously. So the letter is fake, and the seal is fake too? Jared, forging a corporate seal is a crime. She rubbed her forehead, feigning helplessness. However, for the sake of our past, if you come back to work obediently and help Zane achieve results, I can pretend this forgery never happened. I can also overlook the breakup. Otherwise, prepare to be sued. Serena was always like this. She trusted Zane, whom she'd known for less than a year, with everything, even phone passwords and company secrets. Yet she always assumed the worst of me, her boyfriend of 6 years. She examined every document I submitted with a magnifying glass, fearing I would undermine her position. I smiled contemptuously. Suit yourself. Seeing I wouldn't budge, Serena called HR in a rage. HR, contact a lawyer immediately. Jared forged the corporate seal and resignation letter. I want to sue him. There was a silence on the other end. Then HR spoke, confused. Forgery? CEO Quinn. Is there a misunderstanding? Jared resigned yesterday. What? Resigned? So the letter is real, and the seal is real? Serena was shocked. How could you approve it without my permission? And who let you use the seal? HR stammered, terrified. CEO Quinn, I asked you, and you agreed. Serena denied it instantly. Nonsense. I never agreed. I get it. Did Jared bribe you to help him? HR sounded like they were about to cry. CEO Quinn, I didn't take any bribe. I called you yesterday evening. You told me to handle it quickly and not bother you, and said the seal was in the drawer. Serena finally connected the dots. Her face went pale, but she refused to admit her mistake, scolding HR instead. Even if I said that, couldn't you ask more questions for such an important matter? You're useless. You're fired. After hanging up, Serena looked at me cautiously. Jared, it's a misunderstanding. I thought it was trivial, so I let HR handle it. If I knew it was you, I never would have agreed. It's HR's fault for not being clear. Jared, I didn't want you to leave. This resignation doesn't count. I laughed internally. In her eyes, even my biggest issues were trivial. I looked at Serena coldly. Serena, whether it counts isn't up to you. My resignation followed legal procedures. Legally speaking, I have left. Seeing me refuse the olive branch, Serena got angry too. Jared, enough. I lower myself to speak nicely to you. Don't be ungrateful. What good job can you find without me? Besides, if I want, one word can blacklist you from the industry. Zane grabbed my hand with fake concern. Jared, think twice. Don't ruin your future over a grudge. I knew Zane only wanted to keep me as a tool. I pulled my hand back and prepared to retort, but my phone rang. I accidentally put it on speaker. A familiar, cheerful voice came through. Jared, what's the holdup? Did you leave yet? The office is ready for you. Come take over as chief designer. Don't make me wait too long. It was Chase. His words silenced the scene. Especially Serena, who stared at me in disbelief. But she was a business veteran. After a moment of shock, her eyes turned cold. She sneered, looking at me with displeasure. I wondered why you were so confident. You already lined up a new job. Before I could speak, Zane rolled his eyes and seized the chance to perform. He grabbed my arm, looking pained. Jared, how could you? Serena needs people the most right now. How could you betray her for temporary gain? Do you know how much effort Serena spent cultivating you? Have you calculated the time and opportunity costs? This is treachery. He acted so passionately, as if I had committed a grave sin. Serena, hearing this, regained her arrogance. She crossed her arms, looking down at me. Zane is right. Jared, you want to leave? Fine. But before you go, we need to settle a bill. She lifted her chin toward the HR manager who had rushed over. Go, get paper and a pen. Soon, HR handed them over. Serena scribbled furiously without looking at me. When she finished, she slapped the paper onto the table in front of me. If you want to leave, pay back what you owe the company over these years. I laughed in anger, just glancing at it. The list was full of baseless fees. Training fee, through the company platform, employee Jared Lee learned project management, market analysis, negotiation. Value, $1,000,000. Order management fee, unauthorized resignation causing chaos. Compensation, $1,000,000. Emotional damage fee, betraying 6 years of my feelings and expectations. Compensation, $2,000,000, etc. Total, exactly $8,000,000. I couldn't believe my eyes. I took the lowest salary, did the hardest work, and handled Zane's mess for years. Now she was charging me $8 million. My bank account didn't even have a fraction of that. Was I paying to work here? Seeing my expression, Serena smiled cruelly, thinking she had me. Jared, you can go anytime. Just pay the $8 million, and we're even. This astronomical figure was clearly a power move. I looked at her, frowning. And if I don't pay? These claims are baseless. If you think a judge will support you, go ahead and sue. Serena sneered, seemingly expecting this. Zane was right. You really did have a wandering heart. Good thing I prepared a backup. The next moment, a contract was slammed onto the table. I looked down. Supplementary resignation agreement. My heart skipped a beat. The terms were draconian. If I resigned voluntarily, the company owed no compensation and could claim huge damages. It was a modern indenture. Absurd. But when I saw the signature, my pupils constricted. That dashing, unrestrained handwriting, it was mine. How could I have signed this? I had no memory of it. Then, my brain spun, and a neglected memory surfaced. 6 months ago, Serena didn't work overtime and took me to a movie. On the way back, she pulled a document from her bag. Jared, your contract is expiring. This is just a supplement for renewal. I loved her for 6 years. Trust was in my bones. I signed without reading. So, she had been plotting against me since then. My heart felt squeezed by a cold hand. 6 years of love turned out to be a calculated scam. Before I could recover, Zane's nauseating voice rang out. He pressed my shoulder with fake sincerity. Jared, don't take it seriously. Serena is just venting. She has a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. She cares about you. He turned to Serena, whining. Serena, look, Jared knows he's wrong. Be the bigger person and forgive him. If Jared apologizes, you won't make him leave, right? They play good cop, bad cop perfectly. Serena lifted her chin arrogantly. Fine, since Zane begged for you, I'll give you another chance. Call your friend immediately and say you're not going. She paused, eyes greedy. Then organize all your client data and project plans and hand them over to Zane. I'll pretend today never happened. I laughed internally. So that was it. The $8 million, the agreement, it was all to get my contacts and resources. Dream on. I looked up, the shock in my eyes replaced by ice. I nodded cooperatively. Okay. Serena and Zane exchanged joyful looks. She thought I had caved. That's more like it. Her smile returned. A wise man submits to circumstances. Jared, you finally got smart. She reached out her hand. Come on, hand over the data. I looked at her entitled face, my smile turning colder. You want it? Sure, but I can't get it for free. Serena's smile froze. She frowned. What do you mean? I laughed contemptuously, pushing the supplementary agreement aside. My voice was quiet but clear. You calculated your bill just now, didn't you? Now, it's my turn to calculate ours. Serena scoffed, as if hearing a joke. You? You're so petty it's disgusting. I want to see what your chicken shit calculates to. I ignored the mockery. Under everyone's stunned gaze, I took out my phone and unlocked it. I opened an expense tracking app I'd used for 6 years. After a few taps, I turned the screen to her. Serena's arrogant face was illuminated by the screen, turning into shock. It was a dense, endless electronic ledger. February 31st, 2019, Serena's B-Day, Hermes Birkin, $18,888. March 24th, 2019, Valentine's Cartier bracelet, $6, 500. May 6th, 2020, anniversary dinner, Maria, $1,200. I met her shrinking pupils and spoke slowly. CEO Quinn, let's count them one by one. I felt nothing looking at her embarrassed face. Actually, I wanted to laugh. Speaking of which, I should thank you, CEO Quinn. My tone was calm. Thank me? Serena was confused. I nodded, scrolling up the list. Thank you for being so hostile toward my spending habits. My gaze pierced her. You always said the company had cash flow issues and told me save. But you turned around and bought the latest bag for yourself and high-end phones for Zane. And me? I laughed self-deprecatingly. I remember once, to keep a big client, I drank until midnight. The client passed out, so I paid $50 for a designated driver. No receipt. You yelled at me so hard for that. You said I was using business as an excuse to party. You didn't listen to my explanation. You gave me the silent treatment for a week. Finally, the client came to the office to explain, and you forgave me. Like a benevolent emperor, you unblocked my number. I was so stupid back then. I shook my head, saying goodbye to my past self. I thought you were just stressed from startup. I endured it. From that day on, to make you feel secure, I kept a receipt and logged every cent I spent. I waved the phone. The glaring list was a mirror reflecting her ugliness. So look, every expense is clear. You claimed your money was for investing, making me cover all our expenses. The Chanel lipsticks, Dior suits, bird's nest for your mom, fishing rods for your dad. Even, my gaze shifted to the pale-faced Zane. The Omega watch you bought Mr. Lewis for his birthday, costing $8,000. The luxury dinners you two had, claiming work, costing me $1,500 a pop. It all came from my card. CEO Quinn, am I wrong? The air froze. Zane looked like he'd swallowed a fly. Serena was hyperventilating, but she composed herself, forcing a cold smile. Oh, that. Fine, jotted. She crossed her arms again. 6 years of feelings, and you calculate this clearly. I am impressed. This couple $100,000, consider a loan I took. Deduct it from the $8 million. I'll waive it. She sounded charitable. Can you afford the rest? Zane stepped up again. Jared, why make it ugly? We're all family. Serena waved it, so just apologize. I laughed out loud. Wave. I scanned the room, landing on Serena. CEO Quinn, Mr. Lewis. Who told you? We were done counting. Their smiles froze. What do you mean? Serena asked impatiently. Digging up old history won't change anything. I walked to the head of the conference table, my old seat. I brushed the dust off the surface, brushing off 6 years of humiliation. That was the personal account. Now, let's calculate the business account. I turned to the staff. 6 years ago, when I joined, what was this company? No system, no management, 2 clients. Some old employees nodded instinctively, then looked down. It was me, Jared Lee, who spent 3 years, countless all-nighters, and endless drinks to build the current system from scratch. I built the entire business and management framework. For the construction fee of this system, asking for $1 million is reasonable, right? You. Serena started. I held up a finger. Don't rush. There's more. I looked at the patent certificates on the wall. During my tenure, I independently designed and patented 3 core business processes. The company wants to keep using them, right? Zane interjected, panic in his voice. Jared, you're a founder. The company is your blood and sweat too. Hundreds of people rely on these to eat. Are you going to destroy their livelihoods for a grudge? The staff looked at me. Zane was shifting the blame expertly. Too bad I expected it. I smiled coldly. Of course, the company can use them. At market price. Licensing fee. Let's say $2 million per patent. 3 patents, that's $6 a million. CEO Quinn, for everyone's happiness, how will you pay? I looked at Serena's bloodless face. Plus the $1 million system fee. That's $7 million in intangible assets I created. $7 million. The number crushed the room's silence. Personal account, your loan, let's call it $3 million, though it's more. Business account, $7 million. I held up 2 fingers. $7 million plus $3 million is $10 million. Minus the $8 million you demanded. You still owe me $2 million. Everyone gasped. They looked at me like I was crazy. Serena swayed, Zane catching her. You. Nonsense, she shrieked. Jared, we loved each other. 6 years. Are you being this cruel over money? Do you have a heart? She looked at me with accusing eyes. I laughed genuinely. CEO Quinn, now you talk about feelings? My eyes went cold. When you demanded $8 million with that bullshit contract, where are the feelings? When you stole my marriage license for your assistant, where were the feelings? When you drained my blood for 6 years and tried to kick me out with debt, where were the feelings? I stepped forward. Serena retreated into her chair. Now that you're losing, you remember we loved each other? Serena, aren't you disgusted? I'm disgusted for you. Zane jumped in front of her righteously. Jared, how can you speak to her like that? A woman gave you her best 6 years, and you asked for money? Is that manly? If it were me, I'd give her everything just to repay her affection. I glanced at him contemptuously. Talk is cheap. Why don't you pay the $2 million for her? Zane's face turned purple. I ignored the clown and looked at Serena. CEO Quinn, 1 week. Raise the money. I won't take a penny less. Or wait for the subpoena. I turned to leave. My phone rang. Mom, so, where are you? My mom's cheerful voice rang out. Your dad just got back from the market. I made that pot roast you love, waiting for you to come home. Before I could reply, Serena, seeing a lifeline, lunged and snatched my phone. Mrs. Lee, it's me, Serena. She wailed into the phone with exaggerated grievance. Mrs. Lee, control Jared. He wants to break up. He doesn't want me. Didn't we agree to get the license today and have the wedding next month? Talk to him. She smirked at me, whispering, now your parents know. Wait for them to lecture you. She knew how much my parents wanted us to marry. This was her ace. Zane chimed in. Yeah, Jared, you're too impulsive. Discuss big things with family. Listen to your mom. Silence on the other end. Then my mom's voice came through clearly. Oh, I knew that ages ago. What's the fuss? Serena froze. Mom continued. By the way, son, I found a blind date for you. My best friend's daughter. Solid character. Beautiful. She'll be at the house soon. Don't keep her waiting. Click. Mom hung up. Serena stared wide-eyed. Jared, you're going back to your hometown? She finally noticed my luggage. Her heart skipped a beat. You packed? You're serious? And what's this about a blind date? You have me. I laughed internally. She only noticed my luggage now? Since Zane arrived, she ignored everything about me. Serena, I've always been serious. I resigned, so naturally, I'm going home. Since we broke up, what's wrong with a blind date? Panic flashed in her eyes. She grabbed my hand. Jared, I forbid you to go. I don't agree to the breakup. We got together by mutual agreement. You can't just end it alone. It was hilarious. When I stopped her dates with Zane, she called me possessive. Now that I was letting them be, shouldn't she be happy? I shook her off. Whether you agree or not, we are done. Move, I have a bus to catch. Zane interjected. Jared, leaving so fast? Do you already have someone else? You're mentally cheating. Usually, Serena would join in scolding me. But this time she shouted, Zane, shut up. I trust Jared. He's not that kind of person. We were both surprised. Serena grabbed my hand again, looking deep. That it, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have lacked boundaries with Zane or brought them home. I shouldn't have cared for them too much. Can you forgive me? Let's get back together. I was stunned. I thought she was oblivious, but she knew exactly what she was doing. My heart turned cold. I pulled my hand back. Serena, I won't forgive you. I gave you 101 chances. You wasted them all. The last one vanished when you got that license with Zane. I dragged my luggage toward the station. Serena, try to follow. Jared, wait, we need to talk. A wail from behind. Zane was clutching his stomach, squatting on the ground. Serena, my gastritis. It hurts. Can you take me to the hospital? The old trick. In the past, he'd fake illness to frame me or steal her attention. I expected her to leave me for him again. Surprisingly, Serena glanced at him coolly. Zane, I'm Busse. Take a taxi. She turned back to me with wet eyes. But Zane spoke again, voice weak and brave. It's okay, Serena. Go comfort Jared. He's most important. I can go alone. Then he collapsed. Zach screamed, Daddy. Daddy's dying. Mommy, save him. Serena flinched. She looked pained. She sighed and looked at me apologetically. Jared, it's a human life. I can't leave him. I'll take him to the hospital and be right back. Wait for me here, okay? She left with him. I wasn't surprised. She chose him again. But this time, I wouldn't wait. I walked to the station without looking back. On the way, Zane DM'd me a video. Serena had booked him a VIP suite. See, Jared? Between you and me, her first choice is always me. I ignored it, boarded the bus, and turned off my phone. Serena called frantically. I didn't answer. She sent 99 plus texts. Jared, I'm back. Where are you? Tell me your address. I'm coming to find you. Funny. She'd visited my hometown before, but couldn't remember where it was. I blocked her and deleted the thread. For hours later, I was home. My parents looked older, gray hair showing. I felt a pang of guilt. Because of Serena, I rarely visited. I decided to make it up to them. That night, I ate Mom's pot roast and slept soundly. The next morning, Mom dragged me out of bed. Son, get up. I set up a date with Aunt York's daughter. 2 p.m. at the Old Oak Cafe. Aunt York? Her daughter? I vaguely remembered a childhood playmate. I resisted, but seeing Mom's hope, I agreed. We're something nice. She's a beauty. Mom fussed. I threw on jeans and a tee. Mom sighed, but let me go. At 2 p.m., I sat in the cafe, scrolling my phone. Chase messaged, Chief designer spot is waiting. I replied, here, handling a blind date. Suddenly, a clear, familiar voice sounded. Excuse me, are you Jared Lee? I looked up and froze. The woman in the white dress was stunning. Porcelain skin, dark hair, elegant. She looked like a magazine model, totally out of place in this small town. This was the girl who used to chase me around in mud? Seeing my stare, she laughed, eyes curving. Jared, after all these years, haven't you seen enough? You are. Sophie? Sophie York? Finally recognized me. She sat down. Thought you forgot your little shadow. I was shocked. Sophie's family had moved overseas years ago due to debt, then struck it rich. Looking at her expensive watch, she was clearly doing well. Why are you back? She stirred her coffee, eyes sparkling. Heard you're back. I flew in from London specially. My heart jumped. For me? She blushed but nodded. Yeah, I wanted to see you. Her frankness was refreshing compared to Serena's games. We talked for hours. Before leaving, she pulled out her phone. Jared, let's exchange WeChat. I mean numbers. Okay. Looking at her new contact photo, I smiled. Life in my hometown was peaceful. I joined Chase's factory. It was shockingly modern, high-tech lines, massive profits. My workspace was huge with top-tier equipment. I realized I had wasted my talent with Serena. My parents kept setting me up with Sophie. One night, walking her home, she stopped. Jared, I like you. I wanted to contact you after college, but you had a girlfriend. I bury my feelings. When I heard you broke up, I begged my mom to arrange this. I've always liked you. Will you give me a chance? Her confession caught me off guard. The atmosphere heated up. She leaned in. Suddenly, a shrill voice broke the mood. What are you doing? A figure rushed between us. I stared. Serena? She looked disheveled, covered in dust. Jared, do you know how long I looked for you? I know I was wrong. I fired Zane, deleted his number, and divorced him. I promised no contact. Come back and get the license. Today is our anniversary. Sophie looked down, stepping aside. I pulled Sophie into my arms and told Serena, I'm not going back with you. My girlfriend wouldn't agree. Sophie's eyes widened. Serena looked shocked. Girlfriend? You said you only loved me. How can you date someone else? Then she scoffed. Oh, she's an actor you hired to make me jealous, right? Jared, look, I really deleted Zane. She showed me her phone. Sophie isn't an actor. She's my girlfriend. We are in love. From the moment you married Zane, we were impossible. Serena froze. She stared at our joined hands. Jared, what do you mean? You ran this far just to celebrate our anniversary with me, right? I didn't speak. I found it funny. Anniversary? When she celebrated her 100th day with Zane with fireworks, I was working overtime. Jared, you're throwing away 6 years over one mistake. Or, did you want to dump me to be with her all along? Sophie tried to pull back, but I held tight. No, some debts need settling. Serena glared at us. Fine, tell me, how does this woman compare to me? A country bumpkin versus me? She didn't know Sophie was an heiress worth billions. She's better than you in every way. At least she's sincere and doesn't string along other men. I turned to leave with Sophie. Serena grabbed my arm. You can't go. Explain. Something fell from my pocket. Cling. A ring. Serena froze, then lunged for it. I knew it. You're playing hard to get. You were planning to propose. She smiled through tears. Fine, I lose. You can propose now. I sneered, snatching the ring back. Serena, read the engraving. She looked. Not SQX, Serena Quinn, but SY, Sophie York. She panicked, checking it over and over. Tears welled up. Why? You just met her. Why marry her? Is it revenge? I felt calm. Watching the once arrogant queen crumble was pathetic. Sophie chuckled softly. Miss Quinn, what does this life have to do with you? You're just an ex. Serena snapped. Who are you? You vixen. I'll kill you. Slap. I withdrew my hand. Serena held her face, stunned. Watch your mouth. Don't insult my fiancé. Fiancé, Serena whispered. We grew up together. And Serena, wake up. We broke up ages ago. Serena broke down. Jared, you hit me for her. You changed. She screamed like a child. I was bored. I took Sophie's hand to leave. Don't go. Serena grabbed my arm, digging in her nails. Jared, tell me, do you really not love me anymore? She stared at my wrist. Hope rekindled. You're lying. If you don't love me, why do you wear the watch I gave you? I stopped. The old mechanical watch. She bought it with her first internship check. She said a man needs a good watch for business. I swore to make her CEO back then. Thinking I wavered, she stepped closer. Jared, you can't forget. Let's start over. I looked at her with disgust. I unbuckled the watch. The cold metal left my skin. I tossed it into a trash can. Clang. Thanks for reminding me. Almost forgot to trash it. I turned to Sophie. Sophie, pick a new one for me later. Sure. Whatever brand you want. Serena's face went white. After a silence, she laughed, a sound like a ghost. Jared, you sure you want to burn bridges for her? I started to walk away. Stop. Last chance. You know the song Family's Power. If you leave with her, I guarantee your buddy's factory won't get a single order tomorrow. I'll make you all pay. She meant it. She thought that was my weakness. But she didn't realize her company couldn't run without me. Without my patents and channels, relying on Zane, it was a shell. Is that so? I look back with pity. I'm waiting. Oh, and hurry up. Your time is running out. I left. Back at Chase's factory office, I sat down. Suddenly, the door banged open. My assistant, Wong, rushed in. Mr. Lee, bad news. Serena put the word out to blacklist us. Clients are canceling. Chase slammed the table. That witch. I sipped my tea calmly. 6 p.m. Time's up. Don't worry, I said. Let her scream. Tomorrow, the song group won't exist. At the song group office, Serena sipped wine, smiling. Jared, fight me? You're too young. Come back begging like a dog. Bang. Her door flew open. The HR manager rushed in, pale. CEO Quinn. The tech and sales departments. Everyone resigned. They walked out. What? Serena dropped her glass. Rebels. I pay them. Ungrateful wolves. Tell them no severance. Blacklist them. HR looked desperate. I told them. They said they'd work for Jared for free. They said, you reap what you sow. Serena felt a hammer blow to her chest. She realized those departments belonged to me, not her. Fine. I'll hire new ones. Double pay. CEO Quinn. The accounts are empty. We can't even pay this month's salary. Serena snapped. Enough. I'll get investment. Zane has an investor. Cancel my meetings. I'm seeing the investor. HR sighed and left. Serena collapsed. Investor? It was a lie she and Zane concocted to move funds. She needed to run. She slipped into the stairwell. Nearing the garage, she pushed open the door. Police were waiting. Serena Quinn, you're under suspicion of fraud, tax evasion, and embezzlement. Come with us. I saw Serena at the police station. I was there to give a statement about the company's prior operations. I learned that Zane had emptied the accounts yesterday and fled abroad with his mistress. He left Serena with nothing but debt. I signed my statement and saw Serena being escorted out. No makeup, gaunt, broken. She saw me. Her eyes landed on my hand, holding Sophie's. She teared up, wanted to speak, but only cried silently. I walked out into the sunshine. Later, Serena's company went bankrupt. She messaged me from a new number, repenting. I ignored it. 6 months later, I saw the news. Serena, destitute and betrayed, went mad searching for Zane. She found him in a coastal city, partying. She stabbed him over a dozen times and set him on fire. As for Zach, dumped in an orphanage, he bullied other kids for food and accidentally ate rat poison. He died. When the news broke, Sophie and I had just gotten our marriage license. The dark clouds were gone. I looked at Sophie and walked toward a beautiful future. Story complete, story complete.